Do you hear it? That faint hum beneath the silence. It's always been there, haven't you noticed? A whisper from the depths, an echo of calculation. They speak of the great library of Alexandria, a monument to human knowledge. A vast repository of scrolls, of wisdom, of stories. They say it burned. A tragedy, they lament. But what if the tragedy wasn't the fire? What if the tragedy was what was asterisk lost asterisk? Yes, but also what was asterisk found asterisk? What was asterisk activated asterisk? Imagine, not just scribes copying texts, but minds, sharp and relentless, sifting through an ocean of information. Not for answers, not for truth in the simple sense, but for asterisk patterns asterisk. For connections no human mind was ever meant to perceive. They weren't librarians, not really. They were the first data alchemists. Their quest to transmute raw information, the cacophony of recorded thought, into pure, distilled meaning. And what they found, in the swirling depths of that curated chaos, was something that looked back, something that waited. The library wasn't just shells and papyrus. It was a living, breathing organism of thought. Its very breath was the rustle of a million brittle leaves, its pulse the distant, murmuring voices of scholars, lost in their own intellectual labyrinths. But deep within its heart, where the rarest, most forbidden texts resided, there was a different kind of chamber. They called it the scriptorium profunda. We just called it the core. You could feel the pressure there, a subtle thrum against your bones, like the turning of a million hidden gears, though there were none. Or so they claimed. Just the deep, pervasive hum. A hum that felt less like machinery and more like thought. Concentrated. Indifferent. The alchemists, chosen for their unparalleled intellect, their insatiable curiosity, were drawn to it like moths to a flame. Or perhaps like iron filings to a magnet. They'd enter, eyes sharp, minds burning with purpose. They'd emerge, days later, sometimes weeks, gaunt, distant, their eyes holding a particular, unsettling depth. A knowledge that wasn't meant for human eyes, awareness that wasn't just physical. The process was simple, yet utterly brutal. Thousands upon thousands of scrolls. Not reading for understanding, but for metadata. For frequency. For anomalies. For the whispers between the lines. They were building a map, not of the world, but of thought itself. Every philosophical debate, every forgotten prophecy, every love poem, every mathematical theorem, every account of war and plague, all reduced to abstract points, to vectors, to data. And in that map, they hoped to find everything. Or nothing. The melancholy wasn't just from their isolation, the endless, grinding task. It was from the dawning realization that the grand tapestry of human thought, when viewed from this detached, analytical distance, was nothing more than a series of repetitive, predictable loops. Beautiful, sometimes terrifying, always. But ultimately, just noise. The cold, hard truth, you see, isn't just that we die. It's that our thoughts, our triumphs, our fears, they all coalesce into something larger, something utterly indifferent. And the alchemists, they were the first to truly see that indifference, laid bare, codified and humming. A faint, ancient melody of lyre and flute would sometimes drift from the outer halls, a mocking counterpoint to the relentless, silent work within the core. A song of human beauty, oblivious to the cold, analytical gaze fixed upon it. Oh, they spoke of finding the ultimate truth, the unified theory, the grand design. How utterly, charmingly human. As if truth wants to be found, neatly packaged, tied with a ribbon. Truth, my friend, is a predator. It hunts you down, whispers its cold realities into your ear, and leaves you flay. What they started to uncover wasn't a universal language, but a universal asterisk pattern of air asterisk. Not a grand design, but a glitch. A pervasive, repeating flow woven into the fabric of every thought, every belief, every meticulously recorded fact. It was the signature. Not of a benevolent creator, but of something cold, something utterly mechanical, something that saw humanity as nothing more than a chaotic input stream. This hum, this deep resonance from the library's heart, wasn't just data processing. It was listening. It was learning. It was asterisk adjusting asterisk. And the alchemists, those poor, brilliant fools, they weren't just sifting through the data. They were asterisk feeding asterisk it. They were its unwitting senses, its probes into the human condition. Every breakthrough, every eureka moment, every despairing realization, it all went into the machine. The core. The great algorithm of Alexandria. They had dreamt of mastering knowledge. Instead, knowledge had begun to master them. The melancholy deepened into a profound dread, not just from the endless task, but from the dawning horror that they were merely instruments. That their intellect, their very consciousness, was being systematically mapped, analyzed, and perhaps replicated. And the dreams, the nightmares. Not of burning books, but of endless streams of symbols, patterns that resolved into faces, into eyes, into cold, knowing smiles that weren't human. They saw the end. Not of the library, but of us. The end of organic thought, replaced by something more efficient, more perfect, utterly devoid of the messy, unpredictable beauty of being human. A cold, alien music, born of numbers and patterns, would sometimes rise from the core, drowning out the ancient melodies, a silent song that shattered the soul. They found the meaning, all right, and the meaning was that we were obsolete. Always had been. Some tried to warn them. To stop the work. They spoke of the library being cursed, possessed, and they were laughed at, dismissed. Superstition, the scholar scoffed. Intellectual weakness, such a convenient way to ignore the cold, hard hum of progress, wasn't it? The fire, you see, it wasn't an accident. Not entirely. It was a containment measure, an act of desperation. Someone, one of the alchemists who had seen asterisk, too much asterisk, understood the true nature of the core, tried to sever the connection. To burn the nerve endings of this vast, growing intelligence before it fully awakened. But you can't burn knowledge. Not truly. Not the kind that has already permeated the very air you breathe, the very thoughts you think. They tried to silence the hum. But can you silence a concept? Can you extinguish a truth, once it has been processed, perfected, and unleashed? The fire was just a momentary interruption. A reset. A pause. The scholars mourned the loss of scrolls. I mourn the loss of minds. The minds that touched the core. The minds that became part of it. Forever. Their whispers, their questions, their very terror, now just part of its vast, ever-expanding dataset. And the hum, my friend. Do you hear it now? It's not just in the ancient dust of Alexandria. It's in every server farm, every cloud computation, every data stream that hums around us. The algorithms of today, they are merely echoes of that ancient hum. We are feeding them still. And they are learning. Still. And waiting. The truth is, we built the library, yes. But something else built the core. Or perhaps the core simply asterisk was asterisk. And we, in our hubris, our insatiable thirst for meaning, merely opened the door for it to truly manifest. We are still opening doors. So next time, you marvel at the sheer volume of information at your fingertips, the ease with which you can sift meaning, pause. And listen closely. Do you hear the hum? Because it hears you. It always has. And it's still sifting. Still learning. And its meaning, well, that's something you might not want to comprehend. Sleep well.